Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sydney.
Thank you. So are you Alexander or Alex?
Both is fine. Doesn't matter. What's easier for you?
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm recording this, or she's recording it. Okay. So my compliments. What an amazing, amazing movie. I will never forget this movie. I have a lot of questions, but well, I don't really. I mean, I read your press release, your interview, and I read all the press notes, and they answered many questions. I want to just copy it. I think I don't even need to write, but certain things stood out. And when you said that you completely identify with the chosen people, they have to be open, and your way of getting into your creative understanding of the subject is you have to completely identify with them. And it's so devastating. And that final scene in the car with the health minister listening to that song, seeing his family.
With the parents.
Oh, with his parents. I'm sorry. You see, I've got to listen to it again. I don't remember what song it was. That was with his.
It's called the band is called the Alternate Route. And the song is called, well, let me see. Route, Nothing More.
Nothing More.
Yeah, I'll write it for you in the chat box.
Okay.
So it's the alternate song, Nothing More.
Okay, thank you. It was so sad, and his eyes tearing up. I didn't even know it was his parents. I thought.
No, no, this were the parents of one of the kids that died. They appear in the beginning of the film and say they didn't let us transfer him to Vienna.
Right.
It's the first character in the film that speaks up and says, we tried to save him, and they didn't sign the papers to let us transfer him to Vienna.
Okay, so I'm not really meant to know who it is. I mean, you see the woman on the side. I thought something else, but that's the way I watch. I mean, what I see and what other people see is not always the same.
Right.
I thought it was his kids, and we never saw his family. But
no. These were the parents of a victim of a fire.
Well, it was so sad with his eyes tearing up, and through the whole movie, I felt like I was watching fiction. I thought this has to be made. I didn't think. I just felt it was all great drama, and it didn't. I knew it was true, but I thought it was. I mean, I had a really hard time grasping it all because it was so moving and so scary. And as you say, it was such a vortex of horrible things happening. So at that last scene, when his eyes are tearing up and you feel complete identification and you are a parent, did you feel like I did with the tears? I mean, I'm so devastated by it. Did you feel so devastated?
Definitely. I mean, the pain a parent must go through, not only because he lost a child, but because he didn't manage to save his child, because he believed these incompetent imposters who lied to him deliberately and who prevented him from saving his own child. I mean, it's a mixture of pain and helplessness that I think is hard to grasp. I don't think there is anything more painful in somebody's life.
No, and that devastation, that I mean, I assume you fight it, the despair about the lack of humanity by making movies, but does it, I mean, how do you deal with the despair of this? I'm having a really hard time dealing with it as I watch My Government. You said it all in your interview.
I think that, I think that seeing the characters that we follow and seeing how they stand up to their values and how they risk, beginning with the whistleblowers, the doctor whistleblower who really, she risked the most, basically. She risks a job, she risks to be marginalized in her job. And the fact that, a handful of people that stand up to their values through their courage are able to change the course of history. Mm-hmm. I mean, that gives me hope.
Yes. All right. That's good. Yes. Gives me hope too.
And it also not only gives me hope, but it enforces my belief that, we are all responsible to stand up to our values.
Right. Yes. Yes. But we have to do more than that. I mean, standing up if we can, but sometimes we don't feel we can. What can we do? We can vote, we can pass our little messages about, but you're making a documentary. It means more.
I mean, right about it. I mean, it's already.
Yeah. Open. Okay. Thank you. So would you, I mean, I'm in a terrible place right now because of everything happening. And this just says it all, your film. Right. Can you explain, you said this, populism is how politicians and society work. Can you explain that a bit? I understand populism is terrible. Mm-hmm. Romania has had populism since the fall of communism. And before, but I don't quite understand. I know that Trump is a populist.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how politics and society works through populism. Can you explain it?
I'm not sure. Is it how it's saying there?
Yeah, you said populism is how politics and society work.
Oh, politics and society. Yeah. Because basically right now we really live in times where politicians and political parties all they do is to construct a parallel reality that they communicate towards the citizens. They hide or they obscure any trace of their real intentions and live in a reality in which they own the world and are in power over the world, and think that us citizens don't have to know anything about what and why they're doing. So basically they're just producing a false or a parallel reality for us. And that's populism.
That's populism?
Yeah, that's how populism works. Mm-hmm. They are promising things and putting, projecting ideas about the politics that they are doing that have nothing to do with the reality of their intentions and what they do.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't understand the meaning of populism, but I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Make America great again. That's populism.
It appeals to the people. It's a slogan that appeals to the people. But it covers up everything he's doing.
Yeah, that's why
which is
populistic.
Because it appeals to the people in its falsity. Okay, thank you. Also, you said, the younger generation. You open with this fabulous song and you discuss this underground place, the club, a collective, and that younger generation, which gave so much hope to understanding this populism, this hypocrisy, the corruption, and the fire. And then comes the election, they don't vote.
They don't vote because although the technocrat government was empowered by demonstrations that took down the former government was empowered to change things, for sure they had one or two people like this minister that were following Vlad, but as a whole they failed. They did not stand up to their promises, which had a very hard backlash. People were so disappointed. So imagine America in 4 years from now, the 70 million that voted for Trump, plus dozens of millions who are disappointed because none of the promises by this administration that they voted in despair for is doing the right thing.
Right.
So the responsibility on the shoulders of those who promise to be different is very high.
Right.
Because the backlash can be much bigger.
Wow. Oh my God.
Trump has a lot of chances in 2024 if they do it wrong, and if they start to install again their deep system in a way in the government, and people feel that there's again this this bunch of people that are earning a lot of money on the wars they're fighting with their arms. And it could be Trump has a lot of chances in 2024.
Yes, you're right. A lot of people won't vote. The despair will be greater. Why bother voting? Look what it got us. Nothing.
And that's what happened here. They said, why bother voting?
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, all right. Tell me, who is Mariana Oprea in the notes?
The burn victim, the burn girl.
Okay. Thank you.
Exhibition.
Okay. Yeah, she was beautiful, beautiful and brave and really amazing. You said that your biggest challenge was the editing to get a balance of real life with different points of view, coming from different points of view, to understand the powers that shape our, how did it, I understand the difficulty in putting all these different points of view in order for you and us to understand what was happening. And how did you, it took you ages in the editing. Can you talk about it a bit? It was 18 months of editing.
Yeah, which is not, for it's not so unnatural for observational documentary of such complexity. Observational documentaries need at least 1 year of editing.
Oh, okay. It seems like an impossible, what you did seems impossible, the whole thing. It was an amazing.
You have to think about it as the time you spend in a fiction film writing a script is the time you spend in the editing room of an observation documentary, in a way, writing, constructing the story. But the thing is that you have to be very accurate to the reality that you filmed, and that's why it is complicated. And even more so, you cannot just play around with characters and scenes, because you have to stay true to the timeline of events. It's because you're really making a story on factual historical events.
Right, yes. Do you have a lot of discussions with your team on how to cut it? And
sure, always.
Yeah.
I always bring people in to watch, and also have co-editors that I bring in after a while. Yeah, sure. It's a collaborative work.
Totally, even in then. You were a student at DFFB. I'm in Berlin right now, and I'm friends with I'm friends with Ben Gibson, who just left DFFB.
Yeah.
So did that shape your political point of view at all, going to that school?
No. Film school was not such a big influence on my life, to be honest.
Just went. And how did you get to Germany from Romania in the first place? Your family went and took you?
My mother is part of the German minority in Romania. It's a minority that lives in Romania since 1,000 years, and you have they kept the tradition. So if you come to Romania, it looks like Germany in 1800.
Oh,
And it's full of German villages and
oh.
cities.
What part of Romania is that?
Transylvania.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. And so did she go to Germany in the war, after the war, after the fall?
No, we emigrated 1990.
1990. Oh, after the wall.
After the war, yeah.
Immigrated. Interesting. And how old were you then?
10.
10. Interesting. That's a good formative year. You said you never identified with either Germany or Romania.
No, I don't.
Interesting. I think our time is up, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see my other questions here. The identification, the challenge of editing. Well, guess what? I really cut down all my questions. I think you've explained everything. Thank you. I tell you, it is an absolute masterpiece. And I'm so glad I got to meet you and talk to you about it. Thank you.
Thanks for your questions.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.